What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Good morning. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. We're standing at the Polderbaan. We're waiting for the first airplane to arrive, which is probably going to be a Dreamliner from KLM arriving from Austin, Texas. And if the weather was a person and had a personality, today it would be a person with borderline, because in the south half we have drizzly, cloudy weather, and to the north, similarly like we had yesterday, more open weather type with bits of blue. And Schiphol's looking to be on the edge of the two weather types. The weather radars are not too optimistic. I think we're going to be alright. What rain there is seems to be dissolving as it moves towards Schiphol, so I think we should be good. A warm welcome to everybody who has joined us in the meantime, and apologies to Tiger. I missed a message of 5 gifted memberships yesterday, and unfortunately nobody reminded me that I missed it, so I only saw it yesterday evening looking back the stream and the chat. Thank you so much once again for your support, Tiger. Apologies, my sincerest apologies. I don't want to come across as not giving about the support. I missed it. A lot of messages in the chat, and unfortunately when a gifted membership or a member message comes across on my phone, the message doesn't linger. So if it's out of the picture, I don't know it happened. And please remind me when something like that happens. If I appear to be missing something, by all means remind me of it. Apologies, and once again thank you so much, Tiger. And if you are one of the recipients of the gifted memberships, don't forget to say Dankeschön to Tiger. Well, in the meantime, good morning to all who have joined. As you guys can see, the wind has calmed down a little bit, still from the south, a little bit east of south. My voice still a bit hoarse. More clouds than yesterday. It's a bit warmer, 9 degrees Celsius. We have to look carefully to see the outbound traffic to the north. We don't have to look very carefully to see bird controllers. K4. The little lady was watching on her phone or a monitor or something, but she did see me in time. Now, this is where we might get a few raindrops from. Not sure if it is going to rain. If we are going to see some precipitation, it's not going to be substantial. That's the upshot. Visibility to the north is still decent, if not good, in terms of glide slope visibility. We have one airplane approaching right now, and there is a Finnair somewhere behind it. Let me see. Don't see it immediately. No, also not on the bigger screen. Interesting. Oh wait, no. Also increasing the brightness. Huh. Oh, it is lower. Okay. Further away than I anticipated, so I was looking higher than the now approaching Dreamliner, in fact. Now almost at the same height in the distance, Finnair A321, flight 1301, arriving from Helsinki. We have another Dreamliner coming in, looks to become number 3, 78710, arriving from Cartagena. First up, this is KLM flight 668, it's a 787-9 Dreamliner arriving from Austin, Texas. Another airplane in the distance, in the background, approaching the glide slope from the right. Let's see, that would be... Oh wow, is that... Wow, are we looking to Alkmaar all the way? There are 2 airplanes approaching, at least on flight radar, from the east, but they are all the way up to Alkmaar, really far up ahead to the north. Now, in the meantime, T-Mac, Paul, Dirk, JD, Jin, Marco, Herwolf, Thomas, Koen, Kenny, Tiger, Maria, engineer on board, Christos, Marian, Peter PDK, Arjan, Stefan, Dirk, Ella, Evelyn, Ricardo, Soniels, Patrick, Adri, Sander, Michel. No, don't skip. Where was I? Oh yeah, here. Dennis, Nicolette, Mrs. Professor, Gerald, Leo, Evan, Han, all in one, Valentine. Good morning to you all. Georgios, good morning. Jörg, Rolf. Right, I think I'm almost caught up. Nijmeegse Nieuwsnet, Erwin, Johan, Ferrers, Peter, stop chatting, Ian, Ronald, Evert, Pieter, nooit gedacht, Ed, Josephine, good morning to you all. Am I now caught up with the chat? I think I am. Man. Well, it's getting more busy. Not only in the chat, but also on the glide slope. First up, Finnair flight 1301, arriving from Helsinki, A321. Dreamliner arriving from Cartagena will be number 2. But that is on a short circuit. The airplane that you see at 7 o'clock of it is a 777 freighter arriving from Shanghai. Now, further up ahead there is also an A320neo from SAS turning onto the glide slope. Not sure if we can see it though. Don't think we can. Right, let's first focus then on the number 1 airplane to land over here. Finnair flight 1301, A321, origin Helsinki. 2 hours and 12 minutes of flight time, now touching down. History Haven, good morning. Nico, goedemorgen. Mikey, goedemorgen. And thank you for your kind words. Mikey says, good morning, there's nothing better than watch your stream in the morning. Super awesome to watch. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it, man. And I hope everybody is. Does look like more cloudiness is getting closer by over here. Whether or not we are going to actually see any rain remains to be seen. You'll probably hear on the mic it's much more calmer in terms of wind. You can also see how the chimney smoke is more diagonally leaving the chimney instead of horizontally like yesterday. Looking around me in the water, don't see any bird activity in the immediate vicinity. Although when I was walking up here, I did see 2 grebes. Now, another white-nosed airplane arriving from Colombia, from Cartagena. 787-10 Dreamliner, what have you been doing, mate? 8 hours and 59 minutes of flight time, now touching down. Now, Evelyn says that there's an Icelandair 757 special delivery underway. Is that the 100-year independence one? Or a different one? And Dirk says, this is runway 36 right. No, it's 18 right, 36 left. But I got confused so many times. The current runway usage is, this is 18 right. The other two runways are being used for departures, center and left. China Cargo Airlines is up next, flight 217, arriving from Shanghai, 777 freighter, 11 hours and 40 minutes of flight time under its belt. Relatively new, 2 years old, first flight December 2021. Ramona tuning in from Romania. What's in the name? Good morning, welcome, hope you're doing well. Basil Pereira, good morning, tuning in from Mumbai. DJ Meesters from Hogeveen, goedemorgen. Tom McKenzie, good morning. All other viewers, Captain Eddie Boss, good morning. Or good evening to you, my friend. Now, me and my buddy Gosse will be going to a highly recommended Indonesian restaurant this Thursday. Let me see if I can take some pictures. Send them to you. Have you evaluate if the restaurant is indeed truly Indonesian or if it is westernized, which it probably will be. Looking forward to that. Hope all is well with Captain Eddie Boss. And evidence says that the 757 is the 80 years of aviation livery. Well, I don't recall having seen that land on the stream before, so looks like a channel premiere. See that Michael is also tuning in this time around from Germany. Hi there, Michael, good to see you. Apart from the voice, I am doing perfectly fine otherwise. Patrick, goedemorgen. Torch D, good morning. Mr. Blue Sky, good morning. Leopoldine, good morning. Baxa, tuning in from Munich, guten Morgen. Herzlich willkommen. Mr. Haywood, good morning Martin. Fritz, guten Morgen. Ruben, goedemorgen, good morning. Videorama, good morning. Tuning in from Enschede. What's the weather like over there? Also a bit similar to over here or more sunny? Clemencia, goedemorgen. No, I don't have any coffee with me. It makes me need to go to the bathroom more quickly than if I stick with water. So I just took coffee before going out and only have water, brought along water with me. Tactical decision. Joe Schmo tuning in all the way from California. Good morning. More West Coast representatives together with Evan. Maybe some others. Mrs. Professor too, also from Cali. This channel always has a good representation from the West Coast of the United States. A warm welcome to each and every one of you. Giovanni is tuning in from London, good morning. SES flight 1553 now landing. And we've got a 777-200 from Johannesburg immediately after it. Neo style. Rather quiet. In the foreground we have KLM flight 592. In the background we have Lufthansa flight 988 arriving from Frankfurt. Marius, goedemorgen. Suus, goedemorgen. Mihir, good morning or good afternoon perhaps. Tuning in from Chennai in India. Naimish also tuning in from India. Awesome. Nice to see so many people from India also finding the stream lately. Erin says here, Deventer also clouds, sun trying to come out. Yeah, it's a bit dichotomous. The north once again has the better weather today. Although I do believe that they said yesterday on the news or on the weather that tomorrow it's going to be vice versa. So land inward more clouds and coastal regions more sunshine. We'll see. As long as it stays dry and it doesn't blow too hard, I'm a happy camper. Dick, goedemorgen, tuning in from Friesland. And this is KLM flight 592. 10 hours 41 minutes on the way from Johannesburg to Amsterdam, now touching down. Now, Michael, how's the trip going so far? Has Germany changed a lot since you've last been there? Videorama says it's dry and the sun is shining lovely over there in Enschede. Now, yesterday we saw it again after MIA, having been MIA for a long time, and in typical fashion it immediately dives under as soon as I point the camera in its direction. The grebe, hope you guys did see it before it went under. Now they're good swimmers on the water, so might re-emerge on the completely other side. Let's see, yeah, and it did. Tried to duck away, but by now I know its antics, and I know that I need to have a broad view to see it re-emerge. Alrighty, back to the airplanes. More cloudiness in Hilversum, Marianne is reporting. Hey Robin, goedemorgen. Goed je weer te zien. Good to see you, mate. Hope all is well. Right, Michael will be signing off. A belated congratulations. Enjoy the rest of your stay, mate. Speak soon. A319 Lufthansa arriving from Frankfurt. Star Alliance livery, obviously. Mere 46 minutes of flight. And I see the return of Captain Jägermeister. Hey there, Jerry, good morning. Jerry celebrates 11 months of membership and writes, nice day for a Jägermeister and a Heineken. It's a bit early to be dropping Jaeger bombs already, but definitely cocktail time somewhere at any point in time. Thank you so much for your continued support, Jerry. Hope you'll stay a frequent visitor for many more months to come. If not as a member, then at least as a regular visitor. Now, glide slope shots are still possible today. Yesterday, also beautiful day. Now, let's see. The airplane we're now looking at should be El Al, flight 337 arriving from Tel Aviv. We should be seeing an Airbus A330-200 arriving from Edmonton. No, 777-200, apologies, approach somewhere from the left. As according to flight radar, it is turning onto the glide slope. Still always a bit difficult to estimate. Do I need to point the camera a bit lower or a bit higher? Let me just center it. Horizontally, I mean on the... vertically, I mean on the El Al. And let's see what will happen. Maybe zoom out a little bit. Oh, wait, yeah, perfect. So this time around, a bit higher. The airplane now turning in is KLM flight 676, arriving from Edmonton. 777-200. It's followed by Delta Airlines flight 36, an A330neo, arriving from Orlando, Florida. Vliegveld Twente spotters. This is the Polderbaan. and we're watching airplanes arrive from the north. Now, a massive big thank you to Jerry for just now gifting 10 memberships. That is above and beyond, mate, your support. That is very generous of you. Thank you so much. If you are one of the 10 recipients, don't forget to thank Jerry for the gifted membership. Don't forget to use the custom emojis that are now at your disposal whenever you see fit if you are one of the new members, courtesy of Jerry. Jerry, once again, thank you so much for your generosity and welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge, those new members. This is El Al, flight 737-800, arriving from Tel Aviv, 4.5 hours of flight time. Unfortunately, no Israeli butt shots. Bit of a pity. But there's more to come. Now, also a big thank you to Marco voor your super chat. Marco writes, goedemorgen boy, mods en iedereen. Iedereen een mooie zondag gewenst. Groeten uit Enschede. Which translates to good morning boy, moderators and everybody. Everybody have a nice Sunday. Greetings from Enschede. Marco, thank you so much for your well wishes. Happy Sunday to you too. Greetings from a not so sunny Amsterdam. And thank you so much for your kind words and your super chat. Jerry, also a big thank you for your super chat. Jerry writes, I already had a few this Saturday. Glide slope shots, awesome. Thank you so much, Jerry. Be careful. Treat your liver with the respect it deserves. And thank you once again for your super chat. Very kind of you. Now, big picture wise, it is getting a little bit more dark over here, but cloudiness is okay as long as it stays dry. That's the main thing I'm concerned about. 777-200 KLM flight 676 now arriving from Edmonton, Canada. 7 hours and 56 minutes of flight time. 18-year-old airplane, first flight February 2006. Frank, good morning. Nick, good morning. All other viewers who might have joined in the meantime, good morning to you too. You're watching Amos Live. My name is Boy. We're standing along the Polderbaan runway 18 right. Currently the only runway being used for arrivals. And the weather is a bit twofold. The north has open bits and is going to stay dry. The southeastern half of the country looks a bit different. The weather radars, some are saying that we might get a few droplets over here. I think we're going to be alright, but you never know for sure what rain there is going to fall. If any is going to fall, will not be substantial. Wind is blowing from the south still, a little bit east of south. Not as hard as yesterday. Yesterday it was in the double digits. Now it's in the single digits in knots. This is Delta Airlines flight 136. No, 36. Just 36 in the foreground. An Airbus A380 Neo. Then another Airbus A330 behind it, but that's a 300 from Turkish, and another 300 behind it, and that is the 136. So this is flight 36. Flight 136 from Delta will be following with Turkish sandwiched in between. Arriving from Orlando, Florida. Let's look and listen. Flight time 8 hours and 17 minutes. The airplane is 4 years old. First flight was in March 2020. Now, turning back for Turkish Airlines flight 1951. Infamous flight number. The incident that happened with that flight back in the day also happened around the place where this airplane is currently flying, approaching the Polderbaan. But that's not going to repeat itself, I'm sure. It looks like to be on course for a landing in a few moments. This is Turkish Airlines A330-300 arriving from Istanbul. And again, similar to yesterday, some of the flights arriving from Istanbul, which normally average around 3 hours, a bit quicker. This one currently flying for 2 hours and 47 minutes. The airplane is 9 years old. The first flight was in December 2014. No 3 airplane glide slope shot, unfortunately. Lois, good morning. Art, goedemorgen. Ken, good morning. Johan. Matt, goedemorgen. Me, myself, good morning. Marina, good morning. Good to see you again. Hope everybody is enjoying their weekend. Nice tulip on the main fuselage behind the wing. Speaking of tulips, flower fields in the area I live in are still much empty. But Keukenhof will open again later this month. So I'm sure the flower garden has already been prepared with flowering flowers, blooming flowers. Ball scratchers, what is up? Good to see you again, mate. Don Zelly, good morning. Alex, goedemorgen. Carbike Paradise, good morning. Carbike Paradise asks, do I feel better? Well, I have been feeling perfectly fine all along since my nose cleared. It's just that my voice is a bit hoarse and I still have a dry cough that slowly but surely seems to be getting a bit less. But talking all day, every day, both when doing my day job and streaming, isn't helping the recovery of my voice. But I do feel it's getting better slowly but surely. Evan asks, how's your garden going? Well, don't talk about it. Don't mention it. I started with the terrace and the tiles, but then all weekends have been shit with rain since. And me and my uncle have resorted to just waiting until the weather significantly improves before continuing with it. Still have a few tiles that we need to cut to size so that I can rearrange it and have a nice terrace along the patch where I intend to have new grass. Sure, we'll pick it up somewhere in spring, hopefully in a few weeks from now, but it's still work in progress with a couple of stacks of tiles that I already took out that don't have a place to go to. Yeah, well, the silver lining is that the weather hasn't been such that I missed out on having been able to sit in the grass of my backyard, so that's the silver lining, I suppose. Daniel, good morning, goedemorgen. Martien, goedemorgen. And Car Bike Paradise is greeting from Rabat in Morocco. Wow, nice to see people from Morocco also tuning in. Welcome to the show, mate. This is KLM Flight 1224, arriving from Paris, Charles de Gaulle, 737-800. Flight time 42 minutes. The airplane 23 years old, began flying in May 2000. Nice wheelie. Mohin, more people from India. Love from India. Love to you back, Mohin. Welcome to the show. Gav, good morning. Gav says, love a bit of AMS on a Sunday. Well, that's a perfect pastime. So sit back and relax. Hopefully the weather will facilitate a live stream until the A380 has landed. Now, in that little patch of blue, look at what I spy with my little eye. A contrail. Moving west to east, north of me. Yeah, that's all in digital zoom, so it looks pixelated as hell. Not really sure what I'm looking at. Triple? Maybe. Seems a bit hazy. Right. Croatia Airlines Flight 450, arriving from Zagreb, this time in the Star Alliance livery. Yesterday we saw Trade Air, the nice colorful airplane. Getting busy in the living room of Marius with 3 kids watching Suus, Siem en Jade. Goedemorgen allemaal. More Edwins also. This one, Edwin de Grauw, tuning in from Bulgaria. Morning, mate. And also outbound traffic. KLM 737, and what a difference a little bit less wind makes in terms of ease of following. This is also all without image stabilizer, no need to use that. Next up, EasyJet A319 arriving from London Gatwick, 45 minutes of flight time. 15-year-old airplane, first flight February 2009, arriving from London. Fish chips, cup of tea, bad food, worse weather, Mary effing Poppins, London, Gatwick. So, it's called London, but not exactly immediately adjacent to the Thames. More planes coming, you can see 2 immediately. Thank you so much for your super chat, Jerry. Jerry says, roses on the piano or tulips on the organ. That's a reference to something that I don't recognize. Maybe it's an age thing, but I'm assuming you're referring to something, a song or something maybe, but maybe I am too young or too inexperienced to recognize it. Sorry about that, Jerry, but thank you so much for the super chat. Right. You can see airplanes in the background coming to the glide slope of the Polderbaan. I think that might have been an A319 from Lufthansa arriving from Munich. This is Tarom flight 361, the daily flight between Bucharest and Amsterdam, today being flown on an 800 737. See that Sarah is also back in the chat. Good morning, Sarah. Early morning once again for you. Are you always an early riser? Nice 2 airplane glide slope shot. Alan, morning mate. Good to see you again. Hope all is well. Jinshin, aloha. Late to the party. Well, I haven't been streaming that long, so wouldn't say you're late. Oh wow, 3 airplane glide slope shot. Look at this, beautiful. Air Malta, A320neo arriving from Malta in the foreground. Next airplane behind it, A319, Lufthansa arriving from Munich. And an A330-200 from KLM arriving from Vancouver as number 3. Sarah says, I check YouTube early in the morning. Yeah, but you would have to be awake first to be able to check it. So are you a natural early bird or are you night owling then? That's the question. I know that Evan and Jerry are not always night owling. Maria also relatively. It's late in New Zealand as well. Hadi Liewe, goedemorgen kerel. Good to see you again, mate. Hope all is well. Ciao Francesca, benvenuti, benvenuto. Benvenuti is plural. Tourist in Calgary, almost good night. Welcome to the show. Hope you're doing well. This was Air Malta flight 394 A320neo. 2 hours and 45 minutes of flight time. Relatively new airplane, 1 year old, first flight February 2023. So this airplane turned 1 this month, or is going to turn 1 later in the month. I think it's also the first butt shot of the show. Maltese butt shot to kick off the stream with. Neo's Gardens, good morning. Tuning in from Seattle, Tacoma. Schmeggy, Belgium. I saw that too. No landing lights, but in the meantime they have turned on. Then number 3 is now the number 2, and all 3 now have their lights on. Lufthansa flight 2302 A319 arriving from Munich. South Germany, Bavaria. Not too far from the border with Austria. 1 hour and 6 minutes of flight time, now touching down. Let's have a look in the cockpit window, or in the cockpit. Johanna, I should say goedemorgen. Benvenuta. Benvenuto is per uomini e le donne It is benvenuta. Thank you. I now understand the logic. Karsten, guten Morgen. Henry, guten Morgen. Ball Scratcher said you should start your own only planes. Yeah, with pay-per-view butt shots. Anyway, this is KLM Flight 682, arriving from Vancouver, Canada, A330-200, flight time 9 hours 12 minutes. The airplane is 18 years old, first flight October 2005. I'm absolutely not good in Italian, Francesca, but grazie came, I think, midway through the Italian course of Duolingo, and then it got so repetitive and I had to keep refreshing old lessons that I already succeeded in, and then all of a sudden I stopped doing it. So I still have a few more chapters to go through. I think that Duolingo courses are for getting B level or something. Very, very modest still. Either way, I'm digressing. This is KLM Flight 644, arriving from New York, JFK, 777-200, 6 hours, 25 minutes underway. The airplane is 20 years old. The first flight was in January 2004. Mike S, good morning. Colin, good morning. Blackburst, good morning. All other viewers who have joined in the meantime, good morning. Big picture wise, this is what it currently looks like. This is looking to the southeast. This is looking to the south. The wind is blowing from this direction more or less south, a little bit east of south. And as you guys can see, if you just tuned in, the weather is a bit borderline, for lack of a better description. The southern half has clouds and also mild drizzle here and there. The northern half, there, on the other hand, as you guys can see, better weather, and the wind is blowing the precipitation from southeast to northwest. I think we're going to stay clear of significant rain. We might get a few droplets, but maybe even that we're going to be saved from. Time will tell. At least for the time being, we have perfect visibility to the north, making for nice glide slope shots. This airplane to land in a few moments is KLM Flight 696 A330-200, arriving from Toronto, where this airplane departed from, well, in a minute from now, 7 hours ago, precisely according to Flight Radar. 18 years old, this airplane. Frits, goedemorgen. Marcia, goedemorgen. Marcia, if you want to see what I look like, there are pictures of me in action in the community section of the website. Although with my second camera I could go like airline videos and set up a second tripod and do a behind the scenes dual live stream, but yeah, not going to happen anytime soon, I think. Although I do now have two cameras that allows me to be able to do it, theoretically. Anyway, Zueni, buenos dias. And Ionut Cosmin, is that the way to pronounce it? Thank you for the kind words. The next two airplanes visible in one shot. A320 Neo from EasyJet up first, and a Qatar triple freighter from Doha up next. That's the number 2. Arriving from Birmingham, EasyJet flight 27850. 15 minutes underway, 237 nautical miles it has crossed. First flight December 2022, making it 1 year old and a few months. Another idle reverse landing, i.e. the reversers, or at least the slots are opened, but they don't apply actual thrust to engage it. Alrighty, up next, Qatar Airways. Oh, I thought it was a freighter, my apologies. It seems to be a passenger triple. Arriving from Doha, 6 hours and 10 minutes underway, 13 years old already. First flight July 2010. Let's look and listen. Colin asks, will I be streaming tomorrow? Well, weather permitting, I am planning on going out for another stream tomorrow morning. I think the weather should accommodate that, so probably yes is the answer I can give you right now. I've been trying to keep one day off per week, and back in the period of the year where the weather was better, I was able to stream from Thursdays through Sundays, and I would keep Mondays off. But lately weather has been so abysmal, plus I've also been out 2 weeks in February due to holiday and immediately after that my cold. And I haven't been able to stream last Thursday, so if tomorrow the weather will allow me to, I will do another live stream tomorrow. Next up, American Airlines flight 204, arriving from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Still lovely views to the north. American Airlines flight 204, 6 hours and 38 minutes underway. This airplane 6 years old, first flight March 2017. Is that a butt shot in the making? It is. It is. Good morning, Frank. Gerrit, goedemorgen. Ivan. Bom dia. All other viewers who have joined in the meantime, good day to you all. You're watching AMS Live, my name is Boy, this is Polderbaan runway 18 right and a butt shot from American Airlines flight 204. If you like big butts and you cannot lie, don't forget to like the stream. It really helps to spread this content to other aviation enthusiasts. Be sure to subscribe and hit the bell if you want to stay updated of when I'm going live in the future. Next up, another Dreamliner, Air Canada flight 808, arriving from Toronto. 6 hours 44 minutes on the way. The airplane 9 years old. The first flight was in July 2014. Birds in the background. I thought there would be an Embraer 190 arriving from Prague, but I don't see it, so let's just wait then. Right. Now, let's see. In terms of airplanes of interest, we see that there's a Cargolux 747 now flying over the southwest of England. Will be expected around 11:20. The Transavia A321N is also arriving from Palma de Mallorca, expected 20 minutes later. We also have Cargolux Italia arriving from Nairobi, expected around 12:10. The A380 is flying in the vicinity of Bucharest, expected 1:45. Now, not on flight radar, but interesting nonetheless, is a special livery 757 from Icelandair. This is the latest iteration of the weather. Winds blowing from the southwest, under 10 knots. We have a few clouds at 4,800 feet. And air temperature is 10 degrees Celsius, that is roughly 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Current runway use is still the same. The only runway being used for arrivals is the Polderbaan. We are standing over here. The other two north-south oriented runways are currently being used for departures. I will update the ticker with the weather that I copy-pasted just now in a moment. First, let's turn back and watch the landing of the next airplane, which is KLM flight 1352, arriving from the Czech Republic from Prague. Flight time 1 hour 11 minutes. The airplane is 6 years old. First flight February 2018. Now, flight radar also is informing us that there is a BizJet from Netjets approaching Schiphol Oostbaan. Can I see that airplane? The answer is yes. So this would be a BizJet flying over the center of Amsterdam, arriving from Berlin. Netjets Europe will be landing on runway 22. Pixelated AF because this is really far away. Bombardier Global 6000, 51 minutes on the way from Berlin to Amsterdam thus far. The airplane is 12 years old. First flight January 2012. Just to show you how far zoomed in we are, this is the top end of the optical zoom range. And this is with no zoom. Now, next up, Transavia arriving from Innsbruck, flight 6602. Flight time 1 hour 15 minutes. And a big jet coming in next. Let me also crouch back behind the laptop and highlight a very, very generous super chat from So Niels. So Niels, thank you so much for that very generous super chat. So Niels writes, thanks for your streams, boy. I enjoy them a lot. A question for you. What is your opinion of the MD-11 and what is your favorite type of plane? Take care, mate. Those are very good questions. The MD-11, I like it. I think it's a shame that we don't see it so much anymore in this part of the world. I think there are still a lot flying as cargo airplanes, but not visiting Amsterdam anymore. And I think it's a shame because I grew up in a time where 747s and MD-11s and DC-10s were much more prevalent, and I liked the variability. The variability that you had back in the day. Even though it looks a bit silly with an engine in the tail, I always thought it was remarkable to see, just as how the A340 with that little additional gear in the middle looks a bit quirky. I always thought that tri-jets were looking a bit quirky as well. And now these days you only see tri-jets mostly as biz jets. So I think it's a shame that they aren't they aren't around as much anymore as they used to be. Would love to see them more frequently. A shame that KLM also got rid of them. They were still using them until not too long ago. In terms of favorite plane, well, that is a very tough question to answer because there's not really a plane that I don't like. There are, of course, different airplanes that I like for different reasons. The 747-400 is, of course, one of the all-time favorites, period. But I also when looking at modern day airplanes, also like the A350s, very sleek. I think that's the first true Airbus that I really like aesthetically. Not counting A220s because I mean those were developed by Bombardier back in the day. So that's not a true Airbus. Dreamliners, of course, hence the logo of AMS Live. Curvy wings, also beautiful. In terms of fighter jets, I'm also a fan of several types. Meanwhile, A321neo Pegasus arriving from Istanbul has landed at 12:51. Brand new airplane. First flight was in October. Growing up with Top Gun, I always will have a weak spot for the F-14 Tomcat. Now in the Netherlands for a long period of time we had F-16s. Those are also airplanes I have a weak spot for. Jerry told me the other day that he also likes the Beluga and the A400M. Now those are also airplanes that I like aesthetically. In its bulky form, there's also something to be said for the aesthetics of the A380, although I wouldn't necessarily call it pretty. So yeah, hard to give one definitive answer to that question, what is your favorite airplane? Now, this is an A319 from EasyJet arriving from London Heathrow, touching down after 46 minutes of flight. The airplane 18 years old, first flight May 2005. With the British Airman. Hello. Michael says that the 777 is his fave. Well, absolutely I mean, the engine noise of the GE90 is second to none. Right, now, talking about engine noises, you might pick up something in a minute. Is that a mini tractor? With a caravan behind it. Right, what would Jeremy Clarkson think of this? Two of his favorite vehicles. Well, one is his favorite, the other not so much. Mini tractor with a retro style caravan. Is that a bull bar in the front of the tractor? Or belts? What is that? Weightlifting belts? No. Right, well. Right, there you go. The channel that has it all. Wildlife. Airplanes. Cloudy vistas. And caravans pulled by tractors. There you go. Leen, goedemorgen. Panoufat, good morning. Anne, goedemorgen. Hans, goedemorgen. All other viewers who have joined in the meantime, good morning to you all. 2 airplanes, 3 airplanes visible. Let me also update the ticker with the meter I was saying earlier I was going to do, but still forgot. Here we go. Arrival from London Stansted. This is EasyJet flight 27840. 40 minutes of flight time. The airplane is a year old. The first flight was in July 2022. Alright, time for another butt shot. Don't want to be getting those withdrawal symptoms. Thank you so much, Jerry. Tractor to The Hague, super chat. I like that you keep up with Dutch current affairs and can make jokes like that. It's been a while since, well, no, not too long ago, I think, that the tractors were pulling out again to demonstrate. Nowadays it's also Extinction Rebellion that with just manpower alone is blocking highways during the weekends to make their point understood. Got the coots over there. KLM 737 coming in. Now, thought I felt a single droplet just now. It's going to be like that. Perfect. Now, here we go. Take in the glide slope shot. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, drink. 3 airplanes coming this way. The first airplane arriving from London Luton, A320. The second airplane arriving from Salzburg, Transavia. Third airplane is arriving from Panama City, 787-10 Dreamliner. Time to lubricate the throat with a little H2O. Well, I think we might have our channel stream thumbnail. wisps of clouds, providing a gorgeous backdrop. EasyJet flight 22513 arriving from London Luton, 44 minutes of flight time. A320, 14 years old, first flight June 2009. Now, question. That special livery 757, when is it expected? What time approximately? WD-40 is also a good choice to lubricate the throat. Absolutely, Wolfgang. Now, don't have any WD-40 with me directly, so we'll have to make do with H2O instead. But WD-40 can be used for everything. This is Transavia flight 6006, arriving from Salzburg, 737-800, flight time 1 hour 14 minutes. Now I'm not sure if you guys are picking up the sounds of the airplanes departing from the center runway. Due to the directionality of the microphone, you might only pick it up when I point the camera in the direction of the airplanes taking off. It is taking place though. This is what we can see when almost being fully zoomed in digitally. This is nearly 400 times digital zoom, hence it looks a little bit pixelated. A330-300 from KLM taking to the sky. This is the top end of optical zoom with no pixelation distortion. Let's quickly turn back, have another flying AMS Live logo landing here. Thank you, Evelyn. 757 in a special livery, expected in 15 minutes from now. I think it's going to be a channel premiere. I think I only saw the 100 years so far. Now, this is to commemorate the 100-year birthday of KLM. This livery. KLM flight 758, returning from Panama City. Flight time 9 hours 22 minutes. 4-year-old airplane, first flight June 2019. More spooling up of heavies by the sound of it. Delta A330 also taking off from runway center. Now, luckily, the limited amount of wind makes for good following. Although I'm not going to follow this airplane too extensively, there is a beautiful ITA Airways coming to Polderbaan. And this is back being fully zoomed out. Next up, ITA Airways flight 108. Arriving from Rome, A320neo. Flight time 1 hour 55 minutes. Brand new airplane. First flight April 2023, so in 2 months from now it's going to turn 1, this airplane. And because we are welcoming multiple people, plural, and do correct me Francesca if I'm wrong, you should say benvenuti. Benvenuti a tutti. Now, back to back colorful action. And the next one arriving is once again Giulia Friuli, or as at least that's the nickname I'm giving this livery, special livery from Italia Airways, arriving from Milan, A320 flight 120, and a nice colorful back airplane in the background will be immediately following it. We go from dark blue to bright red with the Play A320neo as the now number 2. It's the Friuli-Venezia Giulia livery. Yesterday zoomed into it. See the details in the tail. Lovely airplane. And everything you wish for is just a flight away. Come to visit Italy, in other words. Now, ladies and gentlemen members, get out the playtime emoji and make sure that the butt shot emoji is not too far away, because it is that time again. Flight 460 A320neo arriving from Reykjavik, flight time 2 hours 50 minutes. Airplane is a year old, first flight was in October 2022. And behind it we have the Corendon World to Fly A350-900 returning from Willemstad, Curaçao. But first, playtime. Yep, here we go. Playtime butt shot. Only in the Netherlands. Now, next up, a hybrid livery. The rental company is called World to Fly. The company renting the airplane is called Corendon. If you look closely, you will see the name of Corendon somewhere on the airplane, but it's mostly World to Fly. You will see this airplane is flying dedicatedly between Curaçao, Willemstad and Amsterdam. It's the only route it currently flies. Flight 598. Curaçao being one of the 3 ABC islands, Aruba, Bonaire, Curaçao, in the Caribbean Sea, just off the coast of Venezuela. In other words, the north side of Latin America. Momentarily the sun is coming out, beautifully illuminating the airplane. Flight time 8 hours and 32 minutes, about to touch down. tall windows, it looked like. Well, the pilots were very tiny, but the windows looked very tall. If you compare that with that Bombardier bizjet that we saw yesterday, that had very low windows. Maybe two heads high, something like that. Chris and Colin coots in the meantime, doing their daily cardio with swimming. Well, one of them is. Thought I saw the other one as well. Now, also an emergency vehicle of sorts by the looks of it. Yeah, ambulance. And that is on airport terrain. This is not a Schiphol authority or birth control vehicle. This is an actual ambulance. Now, I don't know why it is going there. Don't think that there are any buildings over there that occupy people. So let's see what's happening. Maybe it's doing a tour around the runway area and it's coming back on this side like the firefighters usually do. Anyway, 777-200 arriving from Calgary. Flight time 8 hours 14 minutes. 19-year-old airplane, first flight September 2004. Now if you're wondering, hey, KLM Asia, what the F? It's arriving from Calgary. It's just a subsidiary that KLM created so that planes from KLM Asia could fly to Taiwan. Has to do with geopolitical reasons. Hadi Roy, goedemorgen. And Paul tuning in from slightly overcast Leiden. Good morning, mate. Hope all is well. Now, big guns are coming in. Aeromexico up next. Flight 25, 7878 Dreamliner arriving from Mexico City. Has the potential to get loud due to reverser usage. Flight time 10 hours and 12 minutes. The airplane 10 years old. The first flight February 2014. Yesterday it got loud, the day before yesterday too. Let's look and listen if we can get a hat trick. Now, as you guys might have picked up if you have attention to detail, there were actually... Where are they? Oh! Let's just first focus and have a look. Yeah, dedicated ambulance of Schiphol Airport. Maybe it got stolen and this is a joyrider. Don't know. I've got a couple of flies over here. You might have picked up on it just now. Trying to see if I can bring them in view. Doesn't seem to be working. This is KLM 5598, arriving from Cape Town. 777-300 ER. 10 hours, 42 minutes underway. The airplane 11 years old, first flight May 2012. In the meantime, parallel arrivals have begun, and now you can also see the bugs bugging me. And a belated big thank you to Hans for just now gifting 5 memberships. I was trying to look for the message to highlight it. Very much appreciated. Thank you so much. If you were one of the recipients of Hans's gifted memberships, don't forget to say dankjewel Hans. Be sure to use the custom emojis that are now at your disposal whenever you see fit if you are one of the new members. Hans, very generous of you. Thank you so much once again for 5 new members to the Aurora Sky Lounge. Right. Narrow bodies going to center. Narrow bodies coming to us. Bleeping bugs already. And Chris and Colin Coot are over there. Don't think I've seen the ducks yet. They're also still doing the dredging. Although those look like they have turned around the corner. The canal does turn to the right a little bit further out. As you can see, the water is now almost perfectly still. Although, hey, what's this? Not feeling it so much, but I am wearing a hat with a cap. Is that really substantial rain then? Let me hold my hand in front of the lens a little bit so that we can point up without immediate risking getting droplets on it. Seems to be nothing substantial. In the meantime, Embraer 175, KLM flight 1516 arriving from Norwich, flight time 37 minutes. No reverse landing by the looks of it. Now, what happened yesterday? If anybody looked, one of the Embraers lowered their spoilers and then they raised it again. I was wondering what happened there. Initially I thought it was a belated deployment of the spoilers, but when I looked back, it turned out that they had already deployed the spoilers, but lowered it and then raised it again, as if they accidentally pulled the lever to retract the spoilers. Either way, at the moment 2 narrow bodies coming this way. Hey Infinity, goedemorgen kerel, good to see you again mate. All other viewers as well, welcome to the show. You're watching AMS Live, my name is Boy. The ticker needs to be updated in terms of runway usage because now the center runway has become a secondary runway for arrivals, parallel arrivals in progress. This is the Polderbound runway 18 right, runway 18 center now also being used for arrivals. This is EasyJet flight 28679, an A319 arriving from London Gatwick. Flight time 47 minutes. And this is the rental from Transavia to KLM. Still has the rainbow thingy on the front end of the fuselage. Was the previous standard livery before everything became green and boring. Rented out to KLM, so that looks like a Transavia flight, but it is actually a flight from KLM. Norbert, good morning mate. All other viewers, Interfluke Spotter, good morning. Aaron, good morning. Captain Jerry says my ex-wife was easy. Right, next up, KLM flight 1072, Boeing 737-800. Wind is getting a bit too calm to my liking. When it was blowing a bit more, we did not have those bugs bugging me. Although they're just flying about, they're not bothering me or my equipment. It's not as bad as when those young spiders were making webs everywhere, including the sun hood of the camera. Marcelo says hello from Brazil. I love this channel. Amsterdam is a great airport to see landings. Marcelo, thank you so much for your kind words. Welcome to the show. Happy to hear that you're liking it. I do hope that everybody is liking it, and if you are liking what you're seeing, don't forget to drop a like. It really helps to spread this content to more aviation enthusiasts such as yourselves. If you want to stay updated of when I'm going live in the future, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon. Yeah, it's raining a little bit. My camera surprisingly has stayed dry so far, mostly. Looks like a bit more substantial rain, but looking in the direction that this precipitation should be coming from, looks all good, so we'll ride it out. Won't be too bad. Now, next up, Embraer 175 KLM flight 916, arriving from Southampton. Flight time 51 minutes. 5-year-old airplane, first flight April 2018. One of the coots also letting known that they're there. Right. Thought I saw something, but no. That's just a rock or something. Hey, there is some movement in the water over there. From what I can see, it does look more like a coot than anything else. And thank you AZ Software, who says that the 747 is expected in 16 minutes. Now, if I recall correctly, that's the one arriving from the west, right? So that is going to go to this runway where we are standing next to regardless. Hey, Paul. Morning, mate. Good to see you again. Hope all is well. And also, thank you, Evelyn. Just 35 more minutes before the special livery 757 arrives. The 80-year independence or something it was. It's going to be a channel premiere. The only special livery 757 that we've seen so far from Icelandair was the 100 years independence version. Now, fear not, unless an unforeseen runway inspection is going on, we should be seeing the 757 from Icelandair land on Polderbaan, arriving from the west. So that means it is usually landing on the westernmost runway. David says, hi boy, great stream as usual. Is there any fish in the stream in front of you? Well, I know for a fact that there are. Not that I've seen fishermen here ever, but there are definitely fish in here, because sometimes you do hear a splash, and I think that was then the tail of a fish swimming just below the surface of the water. This is a Transavia livery, but it is actually a flight from KLM, another rental, arriving from Birmingham. KLM flight 1422. It's actually starting to get a bit warmer over here, with the sun now being out. Those few droplets have now also stopped falling. Nearly completely. We'll take this moment to lock everything and clean the screen clear of droplets. First the camera screen and also my phone screen, because once those droplets that are on my phone screen start rolling down due to gravity, my phone interprets that as swiping and things happen to my phone that I don't want to happen to it. Have my flight radar open and the chat window as well, so don't want anything changed unless I do it myself. This is KLM flight 1002 arriving from London Heathrow. Seven 737-800, flight time 44 minutes. Big picture wise, this is what it currently looks like. This is looking to the southeast. This is looking to the south. To the west it looks more open. To the east, so. And now it looks like the north is the cloudy most area of the sky at this moment in time. And I'm actually standing in the sunshine over here with hardly any wind. Nice. Arda says, do you want to be a pilot in the future? Well, I'm too old for that. I'm 41 already, so my window of opportunity has passed. Plus, I'm unable to become a pilot unless the medical rules and regulations change, because I'm what is called color vision deficient, meaning my sensitivity to discern subtle shades of green and red is impaired, and that is deemed to be a safety hazard, which is utter BS, but prevents me from being allowed to fly commercially or during night or IFR. So no dice. I have to make do with filming airplanes. That's the closest I can get. ATC controller also out of the picture. Becoming a train driver also needs color vision in the Netherlands. Mind you, I never ran a red light. Ran a red light because I thought it was green. Although I do believe it would be a good excuse. Iberia Express, flight 3722, arriving from Madrid this was. A320, 2 hours and 2 minutes on the way. 22 years old, February 2002, first flight. Lots of twos. Deuces. Now, let's switch back to the north. Despite increased cloudiness, still visibility is decent enough to see two airplanes on the glide slope. The first one being KLM flight 765. A330-300 arriving from Bonaire. Now the airplane has been flying for 8 hours and 41 minutes to get here so far. 12 years old, first flight February 2012. And Paul, over here everything is a-okay with the exception of the voice that is still a bit crackling. But that is something that will wear off with time, expectedly. Sun in Yorkshire today as well, finally. Well, congratulations mate, savor the moment. You know what it looked like here yesterday, and you can see what it looks like today. Nothing ever lasts forever, but definitely not sunshine in the UK or the Netherlands. Now, has Captain really made promotion, and has he been promoted to the big league? And that was a nice wheelie from the A330. Longest in a while, actually. Lovely to see. Lisa also back in the chat, just in time for the 747. Perfect timing, Lisa. Hope you're well. Mike Delta 11. Morning, mate. All other viewers, welcome to the show. You're watching AMS Live, my name is Boy. We have parallel arrivals in progress. Still forgot to check, to update the ticker in that respect. Let me do that quickly. So 18 right and 18C are now being used for arrivals. There's hardly any wind. What wind is blowing from the south mostly. Airplanes arriving from the north. With dual runway usage, that means that everything arriving from the west of the Netherlands will usually take the Polderbaan, the runway we are standing next to. Everything arriving from the east will go to the center runway. Although, if you look on flight radar right now, you will also see that there is a KLM arriving from Paris, which, depending on the way it arrives, terminal arrival route. Oh, what is it doing? It seems to be battling wind that I'm not feeling here. Huh. Talking about fish. There was one making waves here. Oh, apologies, that wasn't a fish. That was a grebe that re-emerged over there. Let me switch to autofocus. I was using manual when following the airplanes. There you go. Now, up next, the prettiest of the Airbuses to date, in my humble opinion, the A350. Delta Airlines Flight 74, A350-900 arriving from Atlanta, Georgia. This airplane departed from Atlanta 7 hours 45 minutes ago. 5 years old, first flight September 2018. Hey Rick, Mr. Master. Good to see you, mate. Send over some of that northern sunshine to us, will you? Now, Rick, I hope you did not miss the Giulia Friuli that landed here earlier in the morning. It also landed during the stream yesterday. Yesterday I already told everybody that you have a scale model of the Giulia Friuli ITA Airways. Hope you saw it. Both today and yesterday. Yes, someone has been listening to Jennifer Lopez Let's Get Loud before landing. Actually, that should be on the tape, the 80s tape, when you fly to Amsterdam as a pilot. When tuning in to listen to the METAR, you should get the lady telling the weather, and also in the background Jennifer Lopez Let's Get Loud, just to subconsciously prime them for using the reversers. Maybe that will help. German Airways Embraer 190, one of the rentals for KLM, arriving from Nuremberg on the glide slope to center. This is KLM flight 1884. The Embraer 190 has been flying for 55 minutes to get from Nuremberg to where it is right now. The airplane is 17 years old. The first flight was in January 2007. And happy to read back that you did see the Giulia Friuli, Rick. Right. Digital zoom enabled. Hardly any wind. Makes for easy following. Relatively easy following. Without any image stabilizer necessary, luckily. Can we zoom in even more? Why, yes we can. get things more pixelated. This is 400 times digital zoom on top of 20 times optical zoom. Looks pixelated AF. And only when it is truly wind still can you really do that, get away with it. No traffic coming to Polderbaan just now. Oh, multitasking, looking around me. Not. Oh, wait, no. The first next airplane to arrive is in fact the first queen of the show. I think we can see it already, so I'm going to break off the arrival that I was following. Oh, that's too far to the left. Here we go. Can also enable a little bit of additional digital zoom. Here she is, the first queen of the day, ladies and gentlemen. It is Cargolux, now the number 7 worldwide, tracked by 400 people. Can we get it into the top 3 at least? Let's try. We've got a few more people watching now than the people tracking it on Flight Radar. Merely 400 people, so we can do better. This is the 7478 arriving from Miami, Florida. 8 hours and 4 minutes underway. The airplane is 8 years old. The first flight of this airplane was in July 2015. Back to the optical zoom range and a bit further back. You can see still a bit far away, so that is why the lamps look a little bit pixelated. Hadi Wendy, goedemorgen. Paul says, damn. Yeah, let's hope she is heavy. And we'll get treated to a nice reverser landing there. 1 million pounds falling to earth, Jerry says. Right, now we've got the Cargolux now at number 2 on Flight Radar. 616 people are following it. If I recall correctly, we have a few more viewers right now. Can we get it to number 1? Don't know how many are needed to get it to 1. I'm also going to shut up now. Let's just look and listen and take in the beautiful pictures and sound. Wow, that was definitely what I was hoping for in terms of the audio. Now it seems that we got the Cargolux to number 2. Maybe we can do better with the other queen that is also still expected, and maybe with the A380. We got it to number 1 a couple of times already. If you like stuff like this, don't forget to drop a like. It really helps to spread this content to more aviation enthusiasts such as yourselves. Cargolux, what a machine. Also interesting to see how those flaps are just consisting of 1 or 2 parts, like on the latter airplane types. The old 400 still had, what was it, 4 or so parts? And they're retracting right now. Great. Right, so she's begun taxiing back to the cargo area of the main platform area. Most of you are regular viewers and will know by now, but maybe if you are new to the channel, you don't know the layout of Schiphol Airport just yet. You can see that there's a tower over here, and that is dedicated for inbound and outbound traffic to this particular runway. Adjacent to it, and now in the foreground of the 747 is the fire station of the Polderbaan. And this is the latest addition, built in 2003. This runway we're standing next to. This line of 3 lines the taxi route that this 747 needs to take off. Not take off. Has to abridge to get to the main platform area. This is the original ATC tower. Well, not the very original, but the main tower at the moment. The terminal building is immediately adjacent to it. In the foreground you can see the Sheraton Hotel. This is where most of the terminals are for the passenger flights. The now closed runway 0624 due to major maintenance, and expected to remain closed until the second half of April at least, is more to the south, and on the north end and south end of this runway, you will find the cargo parking places for the 747s, and also Latam Cargo 767, for instance, that is also expected later. DHL A300s that we saw yesterday, they're all parked over there along the southwesternmost runway 0624. Now, according to flight radar, there are two. No, just one. I thought that the Vueling was also turning onto the Polderbaan glide slope, but it is continuing and looks to be landing on the center runway. Just one airplane on the glide slope at the moment. KLM 958 737-900 arrival from Newcastle. Jerry says I'm getting sober, so that's not good news. That means that we have too few glide slope shots. Does allow for a few moments to brief you guys, if you tuned in later, what is the current status quo. Let's first begin with an update of the weather. I just refreshed the page. This is the current weather situation in the Netherlands, at Schiphol Airport at least. 2 knot wind, 1 bow forward. It completely died down, as you can also see here in the wind graph. We had 10 knot wind or around it earlier, but now it's near 0, hence the bugs. Few clouds at 4,900 feet, variable wind rate, variable direction, 2 knot wind. The visibility is 10 kilometers or more. Few clouds at 4,900 feet. The air temperature is 11 degrees Celsius. That is 22 plus 30, around 52 degrees Fahrenheit. The air pressure is 1,000 hectopascals, and no significant changes in the weather are expected in the upcoming 2 hours. Runway refresh, parallel arrivals, as we already saw before. We are standing over here approximately. This runway is called the Polderbaan, runway 18 right, 36 left. And we can also see air traffic going to the center runway. The easternmost north-south oriented runway is now being used as only runway for departures. Airplanes of interest, there is a 757 that I haven't highlighted, but is coming in special livery. The Orange Pride is outbound. We have another Cargolux 747 inbound that is now flying over Germany and is expected around 12:09. So that is in 40 or so minutes from now. You can see the local time in the bottom left of your screen. The expected last airplane of the day, or maybe 1 or 2 more, depending on what is coming in simultaneously. But one of the last airplanes is going to be the Emirates Flight 147, arrival from Dubai, A380. The daily flight expected around 12:40 today. Now we missed the landing of the 737 of KLM just now, which is an airplane that you don't see here at all, normally speaking, so apologies for that. That's a very rare airplane. I know you guys wanted to see it. No way to ever make good on that. Let's then have a look instead at the Vueling A320neo that is approaching the center runway, arriving from Asturias. Flight 8369. Flight time 1 hour 48 minutes. The airplane is 3 years old. The first flight was in March 2020. Hey, Afrodite also in the chat. Goedemorgen. Is it morning still? Yeah. Still have an hour of morning here in the Netherlands. And all other viewers who have joined in the meantime. Chris Echoes says, question, are there still 747s flying on Schiphol in passenger configuration? No, because I think the only 747s in our immediate global vicinity flying 747s is Lufthansa. And Lufthansa is not flying 747-8s to the Netherlands. Even though they might get away with filling one airplane a day on the more busy routes, but they opt for flying more frequently with smaller airplanes. What does BA still have 747s in passenger configuration? Don't know for sure. Either way, BA will also not be visiting the Netherlands with 747s on regular passenger flights. So the answer is short and simple. The answer is no. At the moment, only cargo 747s are visiting Amsterdam. Hey, good news, Maria. Icelandair Flight 500, the special livery 757 assigned to Polderbaan, as was expected. ETA 10 minutes from now. Definitely something to look ahead to. Channel premiere. In the meantime, traffic continuing to go to the center runway. They're all arriving from the north or a little bit from the east. This one is arriving from Bergen. Got another one arriving from Göteborg. This is an Embraer 190, KLM flight 1188. Flight time 1 hour and 21 minutes. The airplane 14 years old. First flight March 2010. And 777-200 outbound to Quito just took off from the 18 left runway. Not really the most optimal location to be spotting departures from. Departures from center are reasonably visible if they're a bit big. Donald and Daisy, I did see them as I was walking up here, but they kept quiet. Now they are showing their beaks a little. Rick asks, did we ever have the Aurora livery here at Polderbaan? Is that the name of that special livery from Icelandair? Then the answer is no. Not to my recollection, at least. There is an A321neo arriving from Boston from JetBlue, now on the glide slope, still a bit out, so for the time being let's have a look at this side view of the E2 Embraer arriving from Göteborg. Big Wi-Fi hump, even from the side, from over here, clearly stands out. KLM flight 1154, E2 Embraer, 1 hour 13 minutes of flight time. Relatively new airplane. First flight July 2023. I'm also hearing a contrail being formed overhead. Though I'm not able to see anything. Silver lining is that it has stopped raining completely. Oh, goose. Is that a Canada goose? No, not a Canadian goose. Because then it would no longer have any feathers. Would have been plucked to make fur coats from, or parkas from, I should say, not fur coats. God, I love it when it's nearly wind still. Makes for so much better following of moving objects. Police is also coming back, and as you can see and probably heard already, a lot of people also coming to Polderbaan today. Right up next, JetBlue A321neo, arriving from Boston, Massachusetts, where this airplane departed from 6 hours and 28 minutes ago. Brand new airplane, i.e. less than a year old. The first flight of this airplane was in September 2023. Someone's setting actual fireworks off behind me, further away. Not bird control fireworks, but consumer fireworks. Morning there, Travis, and all other viewers who have joined in the meantime. Eddie, goedemorgen. Petrikov, good morning. Now, Christian, thank you so much for just becoming a member. Welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge. I hope you will like it in the lounge. Be sure to use the custom emojis that are now at your disposal whenever you see fit. Thank you so much for your support. Welcome to the club. Our latest member, Christian. Right, now, in terms of A320s and 21neos, the next airplane is an A320neo. Turning onto the glide slope behind it is an A321neo, and that is the Transavia A321neo. I think we see the light vaguely. Visibility to the north has deteriorated a little bit compared with the beginning of the stream. Maybe it will open up a little bit again. Oh wait, that's the third? No! What is the third airplane? I thought was the second airplane. Actually, it turns out that the visibility is rather good still. That's the Embraer 190 that I thought we saw vaguely, and not the A321. The A321 at its 1 o'clock. My bad. Anyway, this A320neo is from EasyJet, flight 27868, arriving from Geneva. Flight time 1 hour and 11 minutes. You hear Chris Coot in the meantime also chattering. This airplane is brand new. Began flying in July last year. Still an infant. A baby, I should say. Alrighty. See that Vinny also is back in the chat. Cargolux 747 fan, Dallas, Australia. Good day to you too. Hope all is well. Perfect timing. Groetjes aan Maurits. Carolus van Leeuwen is saying. Hamed, welcome to the stream. All other viewers who have joined in the meantime, welcome to. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. We're standing next to 18 right, the Polderbaan. At the moment, it seems like once again being the only runway being used for arrivals. We did have parallel arrivals shortly before, but now the traffic seems to be going to Polderbaan once again. Indicative of this is that the number 2 now is arriving from Bremen, which would ordinarily would have gone to the center runway if it was still parallel arrivals in progress. Now, for Dutchies, this is a special airplane. It's the first A321neo of Transavia. Transavia The rest of the fleet is 737s, so this is a first. Began flying last November, returning from Palma de Mallorca today as flight 5626. 2 hours and 5 minutes underway. Shall we have a look in the cockpit? Why don't we? Well, let's not forgo the butt shot of Transavia. Still shiny, you can see the markings on the tarmac in the reflection of the bottom end of the rear side. The bum of the bum. Martin, goedemorgen. And Treblov, thank you for your kind words. I did choose this location strategically in line with the first exit of the runway. This is KLM flight 1754, an Embraer 190 arriving from Bremen. A mere 33 minutes of flight time. Bremen not too far away. Obviously, 10-year-old airplane, first flight January 2014. No reversers. Just a bit of braking. Bert, goedemorgen. Who's tuning in from Hardenberg. What's the weather like over there? And Joke asks if there is another spotter place than this one. Absolutely. Next to the McDonald's along the A4 highway. And those are just the official spotter places. There are also a lot of places that aren't official spotter places that you can still visit. Some more easily reachable than others, but there definitely are more official and unofficial spotter places. Now, Jerry, thank you so much for your super chat. Jerry is throwing around some trivia. 1-8, 1 plus 8 equals 9, 3-6, 3 plus 6 equals 9, 0-9, 0 plus 9 equals 9, 2-7, 2 plus 7 equals 9. Never thought of it like that. There must be a reason for that. That's a very keen observation there, Jerry. Right, well, if anybody has a math buff, let us know why this is. They're all straight angles, 90 degrees angles, but does that have to do with it? Not sure. Trigonometry. Maybe, maybe not. This is German Airways flying for KLM. KLM flight 1278, one of the rentals from German Airways, returning from Edinburgh. Flight time 1 hour and 14 minutes. The airplane is 18 years old. The first flight was in January 2006. Joke is asking, why aren't you standing there? Well, I don't think that there is a lot going on there. Yeah, departures you can see from the McDonald's, but you can only see that runway from over there. Yeah, and runway 27, but 27 is not in use, or 09 I should say. And over here we can have a look at 2 runways. So I think this is more interesting for you guys to watch than from another location at the moment. Martin also, thank you so much for your continued support, mate. 4 months of membership, no accompanying text along with it, but Your support is very much appreciated, Martin. Thank you so much. Hope you still like it in the lounge. Do let me know if something isn't to your liking. Now, speaking of departures from other runways, there you go, there's another one taking off. That's a 787-10 Dreamliner outbound to Panama City. Now we can see the airplanes depart from over here, but when you're standing next to the McDonald's, it's a bit harder to see the arrivals on this runway and the center runway, because of buildings in the way, and highways and parking lots. Now, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. It is a channel premiere, as far as I can recall at least. Don't think we've seen this special livery from Icelandair before. The 80 years of aviation livery. Flight 500, it's a 757-200, arriving from Reykjavik. 2 hours and 49 minutes on the way. I think that's a bit longer than normal. I think it averages around 2.5 hours normally speaking. Ladies and gentlemen, this airplane is 30 years old. 30. January 1994 is when it first began to fly. Well, I think unless the footage is really effed up, looking back, this would have to become the thumbnail of the stream of today, I think. Also a little butt shot to boot. Now, what a treat, beautiful. Not the loudest of landings. And Jeffrey, perfect timing if you just tuned in. If this is the first airplane you saw land. I think you sent me a picture of that scale model before, Rick. You did show me your collection. I think I did see it in your collection already then on one of the pictures. I think you sent me those pictures just after you purchased the Giulia Friuli special livery, or at least when you received it. Anyway, Aegean. Also with a nose that is clearly taken from a different airplane. Squeaky brakes. Where's the WD-40? Lars is tuning in from Appingedam. Morgen. Tom Holland, hi to you too. Dennis Leonard says, hi from a cold Tipperary, Ireland. Love your streams, good job. Had to think for a moment how to pronounce it. I probably mispronounced it regardless. Tipperary, is that what you say? Probably has a different pronunciation altogether, just like how you don't say Worcester or Worcestershire, literally. Worcestershire. Anyway. Try that on your bike, boy, WD-40. Yeah, on the brakes particularly, it seems to be working well, Han. Now this is another rental, flying for KLM, German Airways. This one arriving from Glasgow. It's not the one we've been waiting for. A high carb DAPRI Choc-y. Now, since it began flying again, we have seen it so far on every stream, so I'm very confident that we are going to see it once more before the end of the stream, or at least confident is maybe a big word. Optimistically hopeful is a better description. Anyway, got a flying AMS Live logo up next, returning from Curaçao, Willemstad, TUI, flight 395. Far away in the top left quadrant there is another airplane following. A bit more spacing in between. The airplane now about to touch down after 8.5 hours of flight. The airplane is 9 years old. The first flight was in May 2014. Yellow Dragon Place says good morning from Liverpool. Looks like a nice day for plane spotting. Not too hot, not too wet. Absolutely. Also, don't forget, not too windy. Hey, something striking. That's the Dash 8-100 from the Coast Guard that has just apparently taken off from the Schiphol Oost runway. Doing, or at least it's flying westbound to the North Sea to be doing some patrolling, most likely. Caught my eye as it was flying perpendicularly to the now open runways. The reason it looks pixelated is because I'm well into the digital zoom range. This would be the top end of my 20x optical zoom range, but then it is a bit tiny, so I do sometimes like to go buck wild with additional digital zoom, but it does get pixelated a little bit, so it's not the quality of the camera, it's just that I'm bloody zoomed in. Now, also a massive big thank you to Aphrodite and to you all for 500 likes. Aphrodite super chatted the occasion. And my throat is acting up, apologies. Now, Aphrodite, you are doing more than enough as it is already as a moderator. That super chat was totally not necessary. It is still very much appreciated though. And as we're getting ready for a butt shot, I think I need to grab a bit of H2O. To hopefully soothe my throat a little. Very strong urge to cough, which is only going to make it worse. Right. Sun Express up next. Arriving from Kayseri. Gordon Powers says, greetings from Canada, greetings back. Hope all is well over there in Canada. Early riser, I think. You're up early or up late still, depending if you're on the east coast or on the west coast. Got another airplane turning onto the glide slope. That is the first next airplane. It is KLM Flight 706, arriving from Rio de Janeiro. 7879 Dreamliner, and somewhere behind it is an E2 making its way over to the glide slope as well, arriving from the other side, from the right, arriving from Hamburg, maybe a bit lower. Let's just keep the Dreamliner centered and see where it is going to appear. Should be close now. Jeffrey, thank you so much for informing us that a Queen just entered Dutch airspace. That is the second Queen of today's show. This one arriving from the east. Now on omgevingsinfo Schiphol you can see already what runway it will be assigned to. I'm thinking most likely Polderbaan, or at least that's what I'm hoping for. And that's the E2. Just at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock of the Dreamliner. Marwan asks, kan je ook Nederlands? Can you also speak Dutch? Yes, I can. Dennis says, you need a hot Irish whiskey for that cough. Works every time. Never thought of warming up whiskey. Is that actually palatable? Is that tasty? Whenever I do drink whiskey, I always drink it straight, unheated, uncooled, and no ice in it, unadulterated, but never thought of warming it up. Oh, got some more droplets falling right now. Again, a few. Although, and let me keep my hand a bit further extended, looking in the direction where the weather is coming from. Doesn't really look that threatening, so probably going to be just one or two isolated droplets. Nothing to be concerned about. Boy is very Europapapapian. Oh man, if the I'm normally not a Eurovision Song Festival follower at all, but if the Netherlands isn't going to win with this song, I don't know what is going on. I think it's already the most viewed entry this year. Now, one thing I didn't know, but I saw the other day, was that one of those guys of the New Kids actually helped write the song. The guy that played Gerry in New Kids, also doing a small cameo in the video clip. Excellent. Anyway. Didn't even see that, Frank. Ken je ook Nederlands? Ja. Asking if you can speak Dutch and then making a typo in the question. That's irony. Gordon says, tea with honey and lemon works for the throat. Yeah, people keep saying that. I'm still not sure how that would work from an anatomical perspective. When you're lubricating the esophagus and the irritating mucous membrane is actually in your windpipe. Hey, that's good news, Evelyn. The Cargolux 747 assigned to Polderbaan. I was already hoping for it, but it is official now. Now, if our dessert would also be served on this runway, that would be terrific. This is KLM Flight 1780 E2 Embraer, arriving from Hamburg. Hamburg. So, residents of Hamburg, in Dutch we call hamburgers. Hamburger. Tom Holland asks, do you like Max Verstappen? If that question was directed to me, then the answer is I am neutral about him. The guy has talent, but I don't think as a person he comes across as being very likable. Then again, I'm also not following F1 actively anymore. I think last time I checked, his dad was still teammates with Schumacher. And I was a Schumi fan back in the day. I think around the change of the millennium I stopped watching, so I still remember F1 when the engines sounded good. Indeed, veggie hamburgers for us, Rick. By the way, if you use the Beyond Meat, the minced meat, not sure what it's called again, but it's a 300 grams package. You can split it into 4 chunks of 70 grams and you can make patties, you can make smash burgers off of them. They taste really good. A bit similar to the Beyond Burgers themselves, but with that Beyond minced or something? Not sure. Anyway. Florian Sachs, Guten Morgen YouTuber und ich sage Guten Morgen Florian. Still 1 minute before it becomes afternoon over here in mainland Europe. Ah, yeah. Soup with balls. Oh dear. Back in the day, our family used to come together on the first day of Christmas, and it would be at my mom's place 1 year, and then at one of my uncle and aunts the next year, and then one of the other aunts and uncles the other year. So it would rotate. So once every couple of years, you would be hosting the entire family, and then you would also make dinner. And my mom got so much flack for forgetting the balls for the soup as the entree. Years after, she still had to hear that. She prepared balls, froze them in the freezer, and then forgot to take them out and put them in the soup as she was preparing them. Soup with balls. It's mandatory in the Netherlands. And NH is tuning in all the way from Hungary. Good morning to you too. Zampon says groetjes uit Polen. Greetings back to Poland, Zampon. Good to see you again. Hope all is well. All other viewers who might have joined us in the meantime, good morning. Ooh, let's zoom out and have a look at an airplane departing, still under the base of the clouds. 777 outbound to China. Despite the cloudiness, still easy for us to follow. And what a lovely airplane. And sound. We can even add a bit of digital zoom, since it isn't very windy today. Now, luckily those bugs aren't bugging me anymore. They were here before. They seem to have flown away, which I'm not too sad about. And we have another 2 airplane glide slope shot in the meantime. Embraer 190, KLM flight 1166 arriving from Helsinki up first. SAS A320neo arriving from Oslo up next. William says, Cargolux now above Markermeer, so it is approaching the mainland of the province North Holland, which forms the northwestern bit of the Netherlands. In other words, it is approaching quickly. If you want to grab a fresh cup of coffee before the the Boeing 747 lands, you still have a couple of minutes. If you need to use the bathroom, be quick. Jeffrey is giving us an update of the ETA of the A380 expected in 40 minutes, or at least I'm thinking that is the A380 that you're referring to. And Sampon is saying in capital letters, I always watch your shows. Thank you so much, Sampon. Right. Juan says, thanks for zooming in the 777, it's my favorite. Well, happy to oblige, mate. It's also one of my favorites, and particularly those GE90s. Opus 90 of General Electric, best sounding engine in the game. Although the XWB also has a very gnarly growl to it. Peter has to go. He says, bye all, have a great Sunday. You have a great Sunday too, Peter. Thank you so much for joining. Or Peter, I should say. Righty, SAS up next. A320neo arriving from Oslo. Flight 821. Flight time 1 hour and 31 minutes. This A320neo is 3 years old. First flight was in July 2020. And after that, we are going to see a LOT Embraer 175 arriving from Warsaw. LOT flight 263. First up, A320neo time, SAS. All in all, lighting is still great. It looks even lighter now to the south than it does to the north. Even though earlier it looked like rain and drizzle and dreariness was coming from the southeast, heading our way. Just look at those skies and clouds. Beautiful vista. Got another airplane taking off from left. Almost looked like an EasyJet, but I'm not going to call it with certainty. Now, in the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, look at what has just turned onto the glide slope of Polderbaan. It is the second Queen, the first 747-400, the second Cargolux, the other one was a 747-8. This one is arriving from Nairobi, being preceded by a LOT Embraer 175. I'm not going to follow the LOT Embraer extensively, but we are going to watch it land. And then quickly turn back to the Queen. The Queen still doesn't have the landing gear extended. Looks a bit pixelated now because I'm zoomed in well into the digital zoom range, which always deteriorates image quality a little bit because you're just magnifying the pixels. LOT flight 263 from Warsaw, having touchdown. Embraer 175, 1 hour and 34 minutes underway. First flight was in May 2006. Alrighty, there she is. Cargolux flight 2616, operated by Cargolux Italia, arriving from Nairobi, Kenya. 747-400, 8 hours and 33 minutes on the way. The 747 is 15 years old. The first flight was in July 2008. You might also pick up on the mic a departure Embraer 190 KLM outbound to Bergen. Adri just back in time for the landing. Now, doesn't seem to be in the top 10 of flight radar. Interesting. Other airplanes taking precedence over this airplane apparently. Right, well, let's look and listen. She's arriving from Kenya, so will it be heavy? Will it get loud? We'll find out soon enough. Let's look and listen. Reversers definitely got used, and if you look carefully you would see some vortices into the engine, the innermost right engine. Now, if you like what you see and you haven't done so already, don't forget to drop another like. It really helps to spread this content to more aviation enthusiasts such as yourselves. Be sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon if you want to stay updated of upcoming live streams. Cargolux, the second queen, the first 747-400 of today's show. And now the wait for the Emirates A380 begins, expected in half an hour or so from now. Last time I checked. Wind seems to be picking up again. You can see the windsock in the foreground. And the Cargolux now disappearing behind the fire station of Polderbaan. Again, fire station and a dedicated ATC tower over here. And now the remainder of the taxi, still 10 minutes at least to get to the main platform area, and this also has to go to the cargo area. The entire line of trees has to be followed. You can just about see the previous airplane disappear behind the building over there. Now, let's quickly turn back and watch Turkish Airlines flight 1961. Touchdown on Dutch soil on A321, returning from Istanbul, 2 hours 53 minutes on the way. Doing what we call a KLM style landing. Vacate late, sooner to the gate, keep up the speed. Which is exactly what the pilots are doing. This airplane 10 years old already. First flight was in June 2013. Next up we are going to see a Transavia 737 arriving from Italia. Transavia flight 208. Little bit of wind. Also the windmills in the background are moving just a little bit, although they do get moving rather quickly, even with slight breezes. Chris and Curtis coots. No triathlon attempts today, they are just grazing in the grass, minding their own business. Donald and Daisy no longer to be seen. Or no, just loose branches in the water. Alrighty. Let's see. According to flight radar, 2 airplanes on the glide slope. Third one should be turning in from the west or from the left. Yeah, see them all 3. Bottom left quadrant you will see the number 3. Now at 7 to 8 o'clock and at the same altitude of the... Well, 7 8 o'clock of the number 2 and at the same altitude as the number 1. I think you'll see it. 737 from Transavia arriving from Italia up first. The number 2, Emirates A190 arriving from Leeds, KLM flight 1546. The airplane we've been waiting for. The laissez-faire chocolatory special livery, the high carb. Embraer 190 still flying for KLM, also known as Choc-y over here. Third airplane that just turned onto the glide slope, Vueling flight 8309 arriving from Barcelona. Let's have a look in the cockpit, shall we? En Florian, dankeschön. Florian writes, hallo die YouTuber, mir macht die Arbeit richtig gut. Viel Spaß noch im Flughafen Amsterdam. In other words, that's German for hi there YouTuber. Your work is giving me great fun. Have a lot of fun still in Amsterdam Airport. Dankeschön Florian, schön dass du eingeschaltet hattet. Und vielleicht bis ein nächstes Mal nochmals. Next up, KLM flight 1546, Embraer 190 arriving from Leeds. Choc-y, back in the streams regularly since a week or 2. Flight time 49 minutes. The airplane most of us will know by now as the DAPRI. 16 years old, first flight January 2008. Once again, over here the sun is beginning to come out from behind the clouds. Said it in the introduction this morning, if the weather in the Netherlands today was a person and had a personality, it would be a borderliner today. Fluctuating between happy, cheerful, blue, sunny skies and grey, rainy, drizzly misery. Now, chocolate butt shot in the making. Here we go. Always nice. Big picture wise, looking to the southeast, this is what it currently looks like. This is the east, this is the south, and even further up ahead to the south, it looks more open now than it did before, so it definitely looks better. Looking to the west, you can see still more clouds over sea, but also bits of blue here and there. Then inward to the east, also it looks a bit brighter up ahead. For some reason, it seems more cloudy now looking to the north. Which is a reversal of vistas compared with the beginning of the stream. This is Welling flight 8309. No butt shots from the Welling, it is foregoing the first exit. Returning to Amsterdam from Barcelona, this A320 took 2 hours to get here. The airplane is 8 years old, first flight March 2016. Now, one more narrow body and then it is back to the big birds for a little while. Looks very dark and intimidating looking in this part of the sky, but it has already passed. It's not going to come closer. Luckily, it's also not impeding visibility. Right, KLM flight 1060 in the foreground, arriving from Cardiff, Embraer 175, 58 minutes underway. Has been flying 6 years now, for 6 years now. First flight was in July 2017. In the background, you can see a bigger bird, 777-300ER KLM flight 792, arriving from Sao Paulo. Hey, good news, QJ is letting us know that the A380 is coming to Polderbaan, which means that all Quad Squad members that we have seen and are going to see in today's stream will be landing on the right runway. That's very good news indeed. Thank you so much, QJ. Now, we have a bunch of young scooterists, the middle of which did a wheelie just now, a true wheelie. Scooter youth on the cycling path. Sounded like two-stroke engines. You can see the middle one is preparing again, kneeling on the saddle. Yeah, he is doing a wheelie. Now, if that lad in the foreground would take a step to the left, we would have been able to see it. Wah, wah, wah. Oh wait, I do have that sound effect. Never mind. Back to the camera control it is. Alright, 18 minutes out, the A380. Thank you so much, Mrs. Professor. Are you holding out still? Are you holding up still? Are you going to stick around until the A380 has landed, Mrs. Professor? No, it's running late for you. This is KLM flight 792. I'm going to shut up now and tell the rest of the details later. Triple 300 returning from Sao Paulo, 10 hours 48 minutes of flight time. And the airplane 9 years old, first flight February 2015. Ready. Now. 3 airplane glide slope shot Let's see, we have an Embraer 175 arriving from Humberside as number 1. We have Aer Lingus arriving from Dublin in the previous standard livery as number 2. Got an A321 from Untitled / Smartlinks as number 3. Can we see number 4 already? Kuwait, yeah. Over there. That is a 4 airplane glide slope shot, ladies and gentlemen. Despite the cloudiness, perfect visibility to the north. The number 4 is an A320neo arriving from Kuwait City, Kuwait Airways. Now, Dirk, I don't necessarily immediately stop after the A380 has landed. The day before yesterday and yesterday too, for instance, I was told that the LATAM Cargo 767 was just a few minutes behind the A380. So when something like that is coming up, I will stick around a few more minutes, but usually wrap up shortly after or immediately after the A380. That is absolutely correct. Alrighty. Glide slope shot established. Time for me to scroll back. First of all, Dankeschön Wolfgang, who just now gifted 5 memberships, probably to celebrate the fact that we have reached the 600 likes mark. Thank you so much, Austrian Wolf. If you are one of the recipients, don't forget to say Dankeschön Wolfgang, and also Dankeschön Tiger for 5 more memberships gifted just now. Now, you guys are both my moderators and are already doing more than enough to support the channel by moderating as it is, so really isn't necessary, guys. Thank you so much nonetheless. I hope that everybody who has received a membership from you will also thank you for it. If you are one of the new members, don't forget to use the custom emojis at your disposal, and don't forget to say Dankeschön to either Wolfgang or to Tiger for the gifted memberships. And thank you all so much for 600 likes. If you guys do like what you're seeing and you haven't contributed to the 600 likes yet, don't forget to add another one. The more the merrier. It particularly is helpful to help spread this content to people who maybe haven't heard of the channel yet but might also be interested in it. Now, our next airplane to arrive has sunglasses on, and even though the sun is starting to come out over here and wearing sunglasses is not yet necessary. Wait a minute. No, that is not it looked like sunglasses, but it is just a regular cockpit. Had me confused with the next airplane that is coming, which does wear sunglasses. This is Untitled Jet, operated by Smartlinks, arriving from Istanbul. Now you can see the sun is starting to come out. And so have the reversers. Hey there, Guy. Tuning in from Luxembourg. Good to see you again, mate. Hope all is well. This airplane was underway for 3 hours and 4 minutes, so that is very average. 12 years old, first flight February 2012. And Harry asks if the place I'm standing at is the Polderbaan. It is indeed. Just north of the official Spottersplaats, The people are in the way, but behind it you can see cars, and maybe if you look closely you will see a fence in the background. That is the main Spottersplaats. You will also find that on Google Maps, and if you then leave the parking place, walk a bit to the north, you will find a cycling path, and along that cycling path is where I am standing right now. Now the sun is out and the Kuwait Airways A320neo has its sunglasses on already. Probably also necessary back in Kuwait. On the way now for 5 hours and 49 minutes. This airplane 4 years old. The first flight was in January 2020. How well can you see into a cockpit that looks so dark? Does look more tinted than on other airplane types. Might be just me. I think the airplane is preparing to do a butt shot. Let us see through those see-through engines then, if the lighting will allow us to. I think the sun might be a bit too high already. If the sun is a bit lower, you will definitely be able to see through those engines better. Right. Chris and Colin, or Chris and Curtis, are here, the coots. Doing a bit of grazing. You can see the sun is out for as long as it will last. Now, the take-home message that we can learn from these coots is that you don't skimp on your daily greens. Very important. You can see that they're thriving because of their diet, full of veggies and fibers. KLM flight 1272, arriving from Poland. I'm also hearing a big bird spool up in the distance. And there is a heavy departing from center somewhere. There it is. Triple, and that is a Chinese triple. If it is, and it sure looks like it, it will make a right-hand turn most likely and will follow the same course as that other Chinese triple that we were able to see so nicely earlier. Also, take home message from the coots: not only eat your greens but also do cardio. They're doing swimming, that's their cardio of choice, and running, and presumably cycling. Meanwhile, an EasyJet A319 is returning to Amsterdam from the Czech Republic, from Prague, where this airplane departed from an hour and 7 minutes ago. Austrian registered, Alpine on the radio, 14-year-old airplane, first flight September 2009. Alrighty. More air traffic overhead. Oh wait, that is the EasyJet arriving from Prague. Haha, 2 back to back. The other one was from Bristol. Mother effers. You're confusing me. I was zoomed out on Flight Radar too much. Apologies for that. What a mistake at Jamaica. Now, that triple that we saw take off, in the meantime is approaching and flying overhead. Ready. Next up, KLM Flight 1598 arriving from Rome, 737-800. Touching down after an hour and 52 minutes of flight. 4-year-old airplane. First flight was in March 2019. Right, now the A380 is also on its last bit to the polderbaan. In the foreground we have Ryanair arriving from Dublin. Behind it is an EasyJet A319 arriving from Napoli. There is an A330neo as number 3 and the number 4 also visible for airplane glide slope shot. There it is, the A380, the A330neo in the foreground. You can clearly see where where they're just flying towards the runway and where the actual descent of the glide slope begins. Now let's look and listen. Ryanair, they often use their reversers and those can get loud. Not today. Well, back to the triplet then. In the foreground, A319 arriving from Naples, Napoli, whatever you would like to call it. That city in Italy. 2 hours and 6 minutes away. When using EasyJet today. The airplane 14 years old. Oh, this is also a very lovely glide slope shot. We'll have to think hard to decide which is going to make the thumbnail, because this is also a nice shot. Well, back when there were 3 visible. The special delivery from Icelandair also quite nice. Right. Choices to be made. This is a 14-year-old airplane, first flight October 2009. All right. Right, the gear is extending. First the outer main gear, then the inner main gear, and the nose wheel somewhere simultaneously. Looks pixelated because this is 400 times digital zoom in addition to optical zoom. This is back in the optical zoom range. And you can see that the sun is nicely illuminating the A380. Now, the airplane before it has the potential to get loud, so I'm going to follow it a bit longer, at least until we know whether or not it's going to get loud. Arriving from Salt Lake City, Delta Airlines flight 56. Flight time 9 hours and 1 minute according to flight radar. This airplane is relatively new. Began flying in March 2022 for the first time, meaning it is still a year old. Let's look and listen. It did get loud, so no regrets following this airplane a bit longer. Now it is time to follow the now number 5, now number 4 on flight radar, which is also going to get loud, presumably. Emirates flight 147, the A380-800, now followed by 864 people on flight radar. Can we get it number 1? That would be terrific. Think we did it twice now. The airplane has been flying 6 hours and 33 minutes to get here, so that is nominal. Still the old standard livery. AMS Live members, as you guys can see in the chat, have access to the latest iteration of the standard livery with the ribbon tail. This airplane is 8 years old. It began flying in February of the year 2016. There's also another airplane behind it already, a Transavia 737. It looks minute. Also has to keep its distance a little bit because of the wake turbulence, of course. Now, if you are liking what you're seeing and you haven't done so already, don't forget to drop a like. It really helps to spread this content to more aviation enthusiasts such as yourselves. If you want to stay informed of when I'm going live in the future, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon. Let's look and listen. Emirates flight 147, the A380, once again coming to Polderbaan. What can I say? That did not disappoint at all. I hope you guys still have functioning eardrums and speakers. If you've blown your speakers, I take no responsibility for that. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. That's what we were hoping for. Gorgeous. The flying apartment building with wings has landed back safely in the Netherlands. Spoilers are going down. Let's see the flaps retract. Looking on flight radar, don't see any big airplanes in the immediate vicinity, so this will have been the last airplane for today. I am going out again tomorrow if the weather will allow me to tomorrow morning, which I think it will. Now they've lowered the spoilers. Make with the flap retraction. Come on. Before, there you go. before it disappears behind the building of the firefighters, the fire station. Transavia in the foreground, having landed in the meantime. Now, the A380 still has 10 more minutes at least of taxiing to go. Has to go along this line of trees back to the main platform area. You can see another airplane. Oh no, that's not taxiing on this taxi road. This is the A330neo, preceding where the A380 still needs to go to. Main platform area is over there behind the trees. You can see several KLM airplanes. This is also where the terminal building is and where the tower is. I think we might even see the Cathay Pacific A350-1000 there. And here we have the main tower. Meanwhile, the Emirates A380 has cleared this part and is now on its way back to the main platform area. And on that bombshell, it is time to end. Thank you all so much for watching, tuning in, staying with us, spending your precious time with AMS Live. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I have. If you liked what you saw and you haven't done so already, don't forget to drop a like. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't done so already. And looking forward to seeing you on the next one. Hopefully tomorrow. I think the weather will allow me to go out tomorrow morning. So stay tuned for that. Thanks everyone for the support once again. The support you guys have been giving me is tremendous and the channel wouldn't be anything without you guys. So thank you all so much for the super chats, the super stickers, for becoming a member, for gifting memberships, for merch store purchases and for PayPal donations. You guys rock and this is all for you. Hope to see you on the next one. Moderators, once again, thank you so much for keeping the chat friendly and accessible. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Hope to see you on the next one. Take care. See you soon. Bye for now.